The day began the way funerals always did in Umuagu, slow, heavy, and soaked in silence. A grey sky pressed low over the church compound, as if the clouds themselves had come to pay their respects. Black canopies stretched across the sandy ground, their edges fluttering faintly in the breeze. Women in dark wrappers whispered to one another, their voices soft and broken. Men stood in clusters, hands folded behind their backs, eyes fixed on nothing in particular. At the center of it all lay the casket, polished mahogany, brass handles gleaming dully in the morning light. Inside rested the body of Chief Solomon Oguri, a man many had feared, some had admired, and a few had loved deeply. He had been wealthy, influential, and loud in life. In death, he was quiet, his lips sealed, his secrets buried with him. Or so everyone thought. The choir hummed a low hymn as the pastor read from the Book of Psalms. People nodded along, wiping tears, remembering favors received, debts forgiven, arguments never resolved. Chief Oguri had lived a long life, 68 years filled with deals, disputes, laughter, and grudges. No one expected surprises today. The program was printed, the order was fixed, the script familiar. Until she stood up. Her name was Amara Oguri, the chief's first daughter. She sat in the front row beside her mother, Mrs. Eunice Oguri, a quiet woman whose eyes had not left the casket since morning. Amara was 32, tall, composed, and known for her calm nature. She rarely spoke in public. Even now, as she rose slowly to her feet, people assumed she was simply going to read a tribute. The pastor paused mid-sentence, surprised. "My daughter," he said gently, "are you giving a tribute now? Your name is listed later." Amara shook her head. "No, sir," she replied. Her voice was steady, but something in it made several heads turn. "I won't take long. I just need to speak, before we close the casket." A ripple of murmurs spread through the congregation. The pastor hesitated, then nodded. "Go ahead." Amara stepped into the aisle. She did not look at the crowd. Her eyes fixed on the casket, as if her father could hear her better that way. "My father," she began softly, "was a great man to many of you." A few people nodded. Some murmured amen. "He provided jobs. He paid school fees. He built this church." She paused. "But today, before we commit him to the earth, I must tell the truth, because the dead deserve honesty, and the living deserve freedom." Her mother stiffened beside her. "What are you saying?" Eunice whispered, grabbing Amara's arm. Amara gently freed herself. "For years," she continued, "I have carried a secret that has eaten me from the inside. I promised myself I would never speak of it. But standing here today, watching my father lie silent, I realized something. If I don't speak now, I never will." The crowd grew restless. "Amara," the pastor warned softly, "this is not." "I know where I am," she said, turning briefly toward him. "And I know what I'm doing." Silence fell so heavy it felt like a physical weight. "My father," Amara said, her voice now louder, "was not my biological father." Gasps erupted across the compound. Her mother let out a sharp breath, covering her mouth. "But he knew," Amara added quickly. "And that is where the story truly begins." People leaned forward. Phones discreetly slipped into hands. 33 years ago, Amara said, my mother was engaged to another man, Mr. Chaik Balagan, a young trader from Onitsha. They loved each other. They planned to marry. Eunice's hands trembled. But Chief Oguri, Amara continued, wanted my mother. He was already wealthy. Powerful. When she refused him, he used what power he had. He accused Mr. Balagan of theft. The case was false. But the police listened. Mr. Balagan was arrested. A low murmur rolled through the crowd. He spent 2 years in prison, Amara said. 2 years for a crime he did not commit. By the time he came out, my mother had been pressured into marrying Chief Okari, and she was already pregnant with me. The church compound erupted. No. Is that true? God forbid. Eunice broke down, sobbing openly now. My father Chief Okari raised me as his own, Amara said, her eyes shining with unshed tears. He paid my school fees. He protected me. But he also made my life a cage built from guilt. She turned slightly, facing the crowd. When I was 16, she continued, he told me the truth himself. He said, I did terrible things to get what I wanted. You are my punishment and my gift. People shifted uneasily. He told me never to search for my real father. He said the past should stay buried. And I obeyed, for years. Amara took a deep breath. But last year, she said, I found him. The whispers became louder. Mr. Chike Balagan is alive, she said. He lives in a small room in Abba. He sells phone accessories by the roadside. Prison broke him. Life finished what prison started. A woman cried out softly. I met him, Amara continued, her voice cracking for the first time. And do you know what he asked me? She paused. He asked if my mother was happy. Tears streamed down her face now. He didn't curse my father. He didn't ask for money. He didn't demand justice. He just said, tell her I forgave her a long time ago. Several people were openly crying. Amara turned back to the casket. My father tried to make amends before he died, she said. He paid Mr. Balagan secretly. He begged him for forgiveness. But money cannot return stolen years. She swallowed hard. And then, there is something else. The pastor's face went pale. 2 weeks ago, Amara said, my father called me to his bedside. He knew he was dying. He asked me to promise him something. The crowd held its breath. He said, when I am gone, tell the truth. Let them know who I was, good and bad. Let my confession set you free. Gasps. Shock, silence. I did not come here to disgrace him, Amara said. I came here to obey him. She turned slowly, scanning the crowd. There are people here today who suffered because of my father's decisions. People whose land he took. People whose voices he silenced. I stand here as his daughter, saying I am sorry. Her knees buckled slightly, but she stood firm. I am using my inheritance, she added, to make restitution. Scholarships. Land returns. Compensation. It will not erase the pain, but it will acknowledge it. The pastor wiped his face with a handkerchief. Eunice stood suddenly, shaking. It is true, she cried. Everything she said is true. I was afraid. I was young. I let fear rule me. She turned to the crowd. Forgive me, she begged. Forgive us. The silence that followed was not empty, it was full of reckoning. Then, from the back, an old man stepped forward, leaning on a cane. His voice was cracked but strong. Chief Okari wronged me, he said. He took my shop in 1998. I hated him till today. He looked at the casket. But if he truly confessed, and if his daughter is willing to restore, then let the earth judge him fairly. Others nodded. Some wept. Some remained stiff, unwilling yet to soften. The pastor cleared his throat. "This," he said slowly, "is the heaviest confession I have witnessed at a funeral. But truth, though painful, is holy." He turned to Amara. "You have shaken us," he said. "But you have also reminded us no one leaves this world without accounting." Amara bowed her head. As the casket was finally closed, the air felt different, lighter, but charged. People did not rush away afterward. Small groups formed, talking quietly, processing what they had heard. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the trees, Amara stood alone by the fresh mound of earth. "I kept my promise," she whispered. The wind stirred, rustling the leaves. For the first time in her life, the silence did not feel heavy. It felt honest. And in Umuagu, long after the funeral ended, people would say, "They came to bury a man, but they witnessed the truth rise instead." What moral lesson did you learn from this story? And if you enjoyed this story, please like, comment and subscribe to this channel as I bring more interesting stories your way.